Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 458 of the Stacey West podcast. I am your host, Ben, and tonight I'm joined by Chris. How are you, my good mate? Are you well?
Hello, Ben. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm very well, thank you, mate. I think I say this every time I'm introduced at the moment, but it's just impossible not to be well at the moment, innit? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. Yeah, we following the podcast last week. Rach said to me beforehand, she was like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" And I went, "Not a lot, really. I don't really want to do anything." So she took that to mean I'm going to book us in on a spa day. I was like, oh, "Fine, all right." So went to the spa day and had a deep tissue massage. And Chris, I made noises I didn't think were possible.
Did you feel better after it, though?
Probably a day or so after, yeah.
Okay, so you was in agony for 48 hours, and then maybe it was worth it afterwards.
Yeah, felt like I've been hit by a car for a little bit. But there was a point where she grabbed my calf between her palms of her hand, and she squeezed it a bit, and I made a very strange noise that I've not made before or probably ever will again. And I just went, "Oh, I didn't realise I had a pain there."
You do now.
Yeah. But no, it was an excellent day of not doing a huge amount, and then coming home and went to the game on Saturday, and it's been magnificent. And then suddenly, not having any football for 2 weeks just feels a bit strange, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, many happy returns, by the way. I don't know if I actually have wished you happy birthday yet. So if I didn't privately, I'm going to do it publicly now.
You definitely did in some form.
Oh, good. That's all right then. I felt bad for a second then. Yeah, it's strange because we had earlier in the season that spell of a game every 2 or 3 days. You know, this whole Saturday, Tuesday, and completely understand it from a player's perspective, from a planning perspective in terms of prepping for the matches. It's not ideal in terms of like physical load. As a fan, though, I love it. I love the relentlessness of the football calendar when it's 2 games a week. But we kind of got out of that, it felt like, and then we just had a couple of weeks of it being relentless again, and I loved it again. And now going to be twiddling our thumbs for well, not quite a couple of weeks, but nearly a couple of weeks, particularly no game on a Saturday for the first time for a little while. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, going to be strange. I imagine we're still going to have our eyes glued to some sort of football, maybe one match in particular. But without having Lincoln to watch, it's going to be an odd one.
Yeah, it is. It just feels really strange. Like, I mean, and even when it comes back, it's not a Saturday game, is it? It's the Friday game, and you've got the quick turnaround then of the Easter weekend. It's just brilliant. Like, being in this position at the moment, you sat there going, the thing is, even if we lose those next 2 games, we'll still be top. That's a good noise. Yeah, that's a good little noise. But it's bizarre, isn't it? But look, we're delighted with how things are. So tonight's pod is probably going to be a little bit different because obviously we don't have any football to review or preview. But there is plenty happening around Central Bank at the moment. So we're going to pick up on a couple of the bits of news. First bit of news dropped a little bit earlier on today that we've been hit with an FA fine after the shenanigans that happened away at Exeter. I think Sonny Bradley alluded to it on Saturday on the radio with his rather excellent post-match that I think everybody, if they didn't love him before, they would definitely love him afterwards. But yeah, he kind of alluded that, I think it's cost us a few quid. 15,000 of those quid, in fact.
That's more than a few, isn't it?
Yeah. £15,000 fine for the Imps and a £10,000 fine for Exeter following the skirmish at the end of the game. I think that's probably a little bit excessive, but when you look at the wording on paper, it was like a 30-odd man brawl, or 30-odd people got involved. It's like, yeah, okay, Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit too rose-tinted of us to say that we didn't deserve some sort of punishment. Both teams deserve some sort of punishment. I think, I'll just let it go. Like, the reality is, like, you as the EFL, you've probably got to be seen to be doing something about that, haven't you? Really?
Yeah.
I think as when we were watching it, obviously you there live and hearing about it afterwards, maybe there's a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill being made, but that's always the case with these sort of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, fair dues, I think. Maybe a little excessive, but who are we to judge? We can't really complain, can we?
No, it was a bit weird because, like, the thing that always makes me laugh is when you see, when you see things like this happen and it's on it's on live TV, and you have a moment like that, and you get the commentator going, "Oh, and you don't like to see those sorts of scenes." Like, are you kidding? We absolutely love to see these sorts of scenes. It's brilliant. As long as nobody gets seriously injured, like, we really like to see it. It's just fun. And I remember, yeah, I think you were on the pod with me afterwards, and I was talking about this, and you said, "Oh, I don't like getting involved with that." And then I raised the point of what Michael was saying the previous week about, you don't just run for you run for your mate. It's like, yeah, you don't just get square up to somebody else for you. You square up to somebody else because of your mate, and you're like, "Oh, I'm interested now. I like that."
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, it's the wider context. I think in isolation, there's not a lot to it, but when it's that kind of that bigger picture view of it, and it's just another example, really, of the unity in the squad, then you kind of go, yeah, fair dues. And it's, we prefer not for things to maybe have to boil over as they did, but it certainly showed that the squad are together. I'm sure no one at the club is going to particularly be thankful over that £15,000 fine. Of course, that's money that could be spent elsewhere. But yeah, I suppose let's be brutally honest. Would you rather have a 15 grand fine, a squad that is completely together and top of the league, or a squad that maybe isn't quite so together and not be top of the league right now? I mean, those two things are not completely overlapping, are they? The Venn diagram are two circles almost completely not touching, but there's a tiny overlap there, maybe. So I'm going to kind of say this season, I reckon it's okay. Let's let that one slide. We can swallow that. It's not easy to say when it's not my wallet, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I suppose it's probably no surprise that there was some sort of punishment for both clubs.
Definitely. A quick question in the chat says, so have we been seen as more culpable, or is it past record for the higher fine? That's a good question. I don't actually know. But obviously it was seen that Sonny Bradley had kind of instigated it by going up to the Exeter fans. I think so much of that was made.
Agreed.
By the Exeter fans in particular. Oh, he's ex-Plymouth, so it's like, yeah, but he's ex-Plymouth, but he's Lincoln City at the minute, and he's top of the league. So
yeah, well, from what he said, it sounded like it was a little bit of payback from the disrespect shown from the Exeter players and staff in the home leg when they kind of smash and grab, scrub their way to a 1-0 victory at Sincil Bank. But I suppose my assumption, and it is only an assumption, my assumption was that the increased fine compared to Exeter was because we started it basically on the night at least. But I don't know. But ultimately, that is some news that we've had this week, so it was worth covering, wasn't it?
Indeed, and I am more than happy to say to my wife that it will cost her £5,000 every time that Sonny Bradley takes his shirt off. I'm more than happy with that one. So, but we have some good news, some very good news for the club, particularly the ground staff. The ground staff have been named Professional Grounds Team of the Year in the GMA Industry Awards, which is all around grounds management and making sure that the football pitches are all kept tip top, shall we say, and absolutely. It's deserved. I don't think I've seen a pitch at Sincil Bank look this good, this deep into the season ever. It's just, it looks like a carpet, doesn't it? It's fantastic work by everybody involved, and it's thoroughly deserved.
It is thoroughly deserved. Yeah, I know. Again, we always see our own club through those rose-tinted glasses, so it's really nice to kind of get those what we assume to be facts, but they're only facts to us, aren't they? Like legitimized by national recognition. So yeah, congratulations to everyone involved. Let's be honest, it's a huge part It's a huge part of our success is having the surface that allows us to play how we want to. We want to play fast. We want to play vertical football. You can only do that if you can be accurate with your passes, if the ball moves across the turf quickly. We only saw away at Mansfield when that wasn't the case on the terrible pitch there, how that really hinders our style. So, like Michael keeps mentioning in his press conferences, but he's just the face of the whole show, really, in that everyone has a role to play. It's not just every member in the squad. It's the backroom team in terms of the coaches, the medical staff, but it's also the ground staff as well that create an environment that allows the players to do what they're doing on the pitch. Like everyone has a role to play. So I'm sure that's the way that the club will be spinning it. Well, it's not spinning isn't the right word, because that's almost trying to say something that isn't there. It's just shining a light on it, maybe. So yeah, credit to everyone involved. Just another reason to be proud of our football club. Once again, we're setting the standard clearly on the pitch and off it as well.
Absolutely, and a very good point raised by Steve in the chat. He said a stupidly wet winter as well. It was, really was. And they've just been great. And I think this will actually touch on, we'll touch on this a little bit more, sorry, in a question that we have for the second half of the show. Because there's some really good points that I think we can raise in answer to a question that will feature a little bit later on. Another good bit of news and another award. Lincoln City's focus on fan engagement has again been recognised, with Imps fans having the highest match day satisfaction in the entire EFL. Now, I'm pretty sure that having the highest match day satisfaction will always be helped when you are winning, and when you have not. What have we lost? One game at home this season, and we've been behind for, I think Gary put in his article earlier, I think 2% of games.
Home games, yeah. Total
home games,
I think it's around 10% of the total time played, which is by far the least in League One. But yeah, home games, it's even less. It's tiny amount that we've been behind. So yeah, that certainly helps. But in terms of the questions that are asked on the EFL supporters survey, it's not all about how do you feel that your team's doing on the pitch. A lot of it is around the match day experience away from the pitch. Yeah, of course, maybe when you're doing well on the pitch, those then maybe the things that are slight annoyances and aren't quite so perfect get overlooked more than if you're losing. But like, let's not beat around the bush. Like, we're not surprised, are we, that the club have been recognised for creating an outstanding experience for both home and away fans, by the way. It's a really welcoming football club for both sets of fans, which is exactly what we all want to see. Not surprised that it's been recognised, but it's just another piece of fantastic news that's part of a fantastic season, again, both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, points made in the chat as well. Can't wait to see the fan engagement with the new developments to the stadium. It should keep us top of that table. I mean, there's only one way that we can see it as Lincoln City fans. There's only one way we can see that happening, continuing, and we will continue to be up at the top end of that table. It's just, the amount of effort that's gone on, and it, for the most part, it hasn't been like a big bang, has it? It's just been slow, small improvements throughout different areas. Yeah, it's interesting.
It kind of mirrors what's going on the pitch a little bit.
Yeah,
in that there's not really one massive improvement anywhere. It's just lots of individual factors all just being nudged in the right direction together, and on their own don't maybe make a huge, massive change, but combined all together can become quite a significant step in the right direction. And I think, the whole club is kind of progressing at a pretty consistent rate, which is obviously an absolute joy to behold and a pleasure to witness. But I like good news, Ben. It's fun.
It is very, very fun. Should we keep the good news train rolling, Chris?
Let's.
So obviously the reason that we don't have a game this weekend is it's the international break. 4 Lincoln City players have been called up and will represent their sides at different levels this weekend. So first up, we've got Ivan Varfolomiev. He will be playing in Ukraine's under-21 squad. Got Ryan One playing in the Scotland under-21 squad. Got Camille Conte, which that one feels a little bit cheeky. It feels a little bit Dexter Lembakisa-like.
Just a little.
Yeah, on that one. But the surprise one for today, which I was genuinely delighted to see, Ocean Gallagher's been called up for Ireland's under-21s. What a superb opportunity for Ocean to go and get some real high-level experience for himself. They're playing Moldova and admittedly Kazakhstan, so not the not sort of ultra high level, but obviously it's an international game and it's under 21s game. You can't get too much higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in regard to, of course, our game being called off this Saturday, Oshin's call-up doesn't affect that directly, but it's just really good news for a player that's had a couple of bad injuries in the last few years, whose development maybe has stalled, or the perception of his development maybe had been stalled compared to the other players of his similar age that came through at the same time, such as like Sean Rowan, who of course played every single game of the league last season, every minute, and then got a move, and Freddie, who became a real key part of our team this year. Oshin hasn't quite been able to make that step, primarily through bad luck with injuries. It's brilliant to see him playing at Boston week in, week out. Now he's become a real key player for them. So it's just nice to see that his development is still going in the right direction. And yeah, when you get these sort of call-ups, it's just a recognition for some hard work and a reward for doing something right at the end of the day. And that's something that we all like to see.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I work in Boston when I'm in the office, and there's a few Boston fans there, and they're all sort of raving about Oshin. I think he's like you say, he's become a very key player in their squad, and it's just a really nice thing to have happen for somebody, because you just think, well, yeah, as you mentioned, I think he was on the receiving end of a horror tackle last season that curtailed his season with Boston. Going back there, getting back into the frame, and really kind of push himself into that first 11 week in, week out, can only be good for his development. And I'll be delighted to see where he goes. But yeah, really happy that he's made it up to the under 21s. I think the interesting one was Rico Hackett. Didn't feature in St. Lucia's squad, which I think we were informed that he'd been called up. So maybe there was a long list and then a short list and then whatever. So yeah, strange one, but there's 3 players out there that are in the first team squad. So the game is off for that reason. So yeah,
indeed, yeah, and there's been a little bit of discussion around that decision. I think this has been much more widely accepted than maybe the decision earlier in the season, which in hindsight was definitely the right call. But absolutely get it from a fan's perspective. Was really looking forward to going to Doncaster on Saturday afternoon. On a purely personal note, I was meant to be doing the commentary, and I can't do it now for the Tuesday night. So obviously I'm gutted as well, but that's fine. But it's like there's the personal side of it and a fan's perspective. No, that's annoying. And then there's the very real and important at this stage of the season performance perspective, is that there's not a 0% chance that this could be the difference between us going up and not, or us becoming champions and not. Like, the earlier we get guaranteed to get promoted, the earlier we can start planning for next season. And if we're going to be missing a good few players for this weekend, and off the back of a very, very busy 2 or 3 weeks where the lads clearly need a break, and let's not forget the huge benefit that FA Cup third round weekend, that we didn't have a game on. Not having a game then was massive, or was it might have been second round, whenever it was, when we didn't have a game the weekend after the Christmas period. Like, it was massive for us, and we went on it wasn't the start of, but it was certainly the acceleration of our current unbeaten run. So I think from a performance perspective, it makes total sense to give the lads a little bit of a break from matches and to give us just the best possible opportunity to get over the line. So yeah, a shame from a fan's point of view, but it's not a million miles down the road, is it, for a Tuesday night game? So no. I'm sure they'll still be well backed. And who knows, best case scenario, it could just be a party on a Tuesday night in Doncaster rather than a nervous Saturday instead.
Fingers crossed. I mean, it still feels a little bit bizarre to me that Cardiff was this month. Like, it feels like it was forever ago. And even when you look at the table, before that Cardiff game, we were 2 points behind them. We're now 7 points clear. It's bonkers that was at the start of this month. there we go. And yeah, we're at the end of the month. I know we probably shouldn't talk about this, but I think there's a certain member of staff at the club that might be going back to back, Chris. With another award, which we can hopefully have some good news next month, and it should dispel any notions of a curse. Right, Jamie Partington has gone out on loan to Kidderminster Harriers. Admittedly, it is only for a week. Following an injury to Christian Dibble over there. He's gone out there on an emergency loan for a week. So, that feels to me like one of those where you think, okay, fair enough, go out. Normally you'd say go out, get plenty of football, but if you're only there for a week, go and do the job, I guess.
Yeah, he's had more loans than Wonga, hasn't he, Jamie Partington? That's terrible, isn't it? I suppose also of a certain vintage, I'd say, because I think they went bankrupt a few years ago. Anyway, anyway, it's a good opportunity for Jamie to just get some first-team football, though, isn't it? It's a level he's played at this season. He's playing Oxford City again. I think he's played them a couple of times already in his previous other loans. But yeah, ultimately, third-choice goalkeeper, opportunity to go and get some first-team football. The other two are fit. Crack on, Jamie. Good luck.
Absolutely. Right, so we will move on to some other bits now, which actually no, sod it. Let's keep the very good news rolling, because it is very good news. All of our tickets are selling out, Chris.
Yeah, they are. It's the hottest seat in town, isn't it? It's really difficult to get a ticket to watch Lincoln City these days, and hey, should the promised land be reached, certainly for our home games, you can imagine that not getting any easier next season. Hopefully some bigger away ends will mean that we can take plenty of away fans. But it's just uncharted territory, really, for it to be this consistent. We've had big games, obviously, and big moments over the last few seasons, but to kind of be basically selling out for what is weeks in advance of some matches is... Yeah, it's nothing I've ever really experienced before as a Lincoln City fan. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago with a waiting list for season tickets. Like that's the first time that's ever happened to my knowledge. It's a great sign that things are going well, isn't it? No one listening to this needs us to confirm that things are going well. They all know that very, very well themselves. But it's just another positive, isn't it? It's just another sign that things are just better than any of us could possibly have imagined 12 months ago.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I saw the club put a graphic out the other day. We're on 5,000 season tickets sold, which, I mean, it's not even the end of March. That's brilliant. And we've still got, is it the end of April that the window closes? Or I've got the 14th in my head for some reason. It might be then.
Oh God! Tell you what, in the halfway break, we'll double check this so we give them the correct numbers. I know it's one more payday. So I think it's off the top of my head March payday, and then it's relatively early in April that the window closes. But we will confirm this in part two, just so we're giving everyone the correct info.
Either way, it's not even April, and I would fully expect a graphic to go up at some point in the next few days to say, oh, by the way, we're on 6,000 now. It's insane. But Reading away, sold out, and then I think they got a few more tickets this morning that went on sale. I'm not sure if they've completely sold out now. April the 2nd, says Nick in the chat.
Top man. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. So Reading sold out. Stevenage sold out instantly, basically. I think there was a few that went on sale to silver members, but basically all went to gold members straight away. Doncaster is obviously sold out, but there may be an opportunity for people to buy tickets that get returned because people won't be able to make the Tuesday night game. I think all of the home games, it's probably fair to say they will sell out. And then we've got Port Vale away. We just need to wait and see what their allocation is for, hopefully.
The whole stadium, please.
just like an army of coaches going across the country towards Stoke. Yeah, that'd be nice. And then obviously the Vale game, but I want to say hopefully a promotion party. But let's be honest here, Chris. It's when rather than if, isn't it? When it comes to that.
That feels likely. Yeah, and I obviously you sneakily put the video of me finally saying it out loud on our YouTube channel, didn't you?
I did no such thing. I merely dropped it into our group chat, and somebody else did the rest.
Oh, did they? Oh, I just assumed it was you. Oh, right, fair enough. Oh, sorry, I was throwing the blame there. So, but it's out there now, so I can't come on here and go, oh no, it's not. No, we still need to wait until it's done, and we do need to wait until it's done to fully celebrate. But it's incredibly unlikely that we're not going up now. Yeah. Like every other team has got to win pretty much every game remaining. None of them are showing that.
I don't think pretty much is fair. I think they do. I mean, obviously, you know, I think Bolton and Stockport would have to win 7 of 8. Bolton would have to win 6 of 7.
And Stockport would have to win 9 of 9, I think. Or 8 of 9 in a draw, I think. It's all written down here. Because part of our discussion today was to discuss like the permutations of it all.
We shall do that after
but like the reality is, yes, it's very, 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 very likely that we're going to be going up and it'll be a nice big party there. Let's just be semi-realistic in that let's assume we probably are promoted by then, which would be great. We might not have guaranteed the league title by then. And let's be honest, like the squad are 7 points clear at the top of the league now. They want the title. Yes, of course. The most important thing is promotion, but they want the title. They deserve the title. I think for the consistency they've shown, there will likely still be plenty of things to play for by then. Of course, if we've won that by that point as well, then it will absolutely just be a big old party. But it's mad. Like you kind of have to. I saw a comment in the Discord earlier about pinching yourself and it's a great question. But so just in terms of that pinching yourself metaphor. It's strange because you talk about these things quite objectively, don't you? Passionately, and you feel them, but it's quite objectively, quite factual. And then, I don't know about you, but I kind of find myself then stopping and thinking, I'm talking about Lincoln City. Like, this is silly. Like it's almost like I still haven't quite put the reality of what this particular football team that we're following is doing. And then it's our team. It's our team that's doing that. Like it's weird. I still can't put 2 and 2 together yet. It's strange. No, maybe I won't be able to until we actually kick off in the championship.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's there is the part of my brain that's going, this is brilliant. This is brilliant, and it's definitely happening. And then there's the part of my brain that's like, but brilliant things don't happen to Lincoln City. Like they haven't done in the past. And you know, your mind goes back to, as I said before, 2011 and all the rest of it. But like, it definitely feels like it's when rather than if at this stage.
It is still if though. Officially, it is
officially. But Bolton aren't winning all of their remaining games, and I don't think Stockport are either. So, but you know, who knows? We might win all of our remaining games, and
yeah,
that'd be fun. Right. Let's have a quick look. What we tend to listen to some pretty pretty wide array of League One content, and around the EFL. Not top 20 boys. Ali Maxwell, bless him, he loves us, doesn't he?
He does love us. I know we often reference not the top 20 on this podcast, and but I personally I do that because I think they are the authority of an overall picture of the whole EFL. I think they're brilliant. They have had the longevity that they've had for a reason, I think. So they're great. It's quite nice when they're so positive about your own team, though. And yeah, Ali's been positive around us for a while, but George, who initially had a couple of doubts, not unsurprisingly, I think a lot of fans on the outside looking in would have all, like if other clubs would have had a few doubts as to whether we would have the staying power. But he's completely changed his tune. He's gone, wow, like Lincoln have got better and better and better. It's just, it's I specifically tune into not the top 20 every week just to listen to Lincoln now. I used to listen just because I'm genuinely interested in the whole EFL and they're my kind of go-to to get the overview.
Yeah.
The very first thing I listen to now is just literally the Lincoln bit. And you used to have to kind of maybe skip ahead a little bit to try and find, that's our game. And now you just go, right, as soon as the start of the League One bit starts, you know that the first team that's going to be spoken about is us. And it's just nice. It's just nice. And I appreciate this is maybe an was going to say overly positive podcast. It's not overly positive. It's legitimately positive, isn't it? It's deservedly positive. But it's nice to get the recognition from in my opinion, the authority on the EFL. And yeah, it's just.
I think the quote that really sticks out for me is where he was talking about it. He said, one thing that's peppered our seasoned our chat around League One and the top of the table over the last few weeks has been this idea that no one's good apart from Lincoln and Cardiff. And then he followed it up with, now we're at a point where no one's good apart from Lincoln City. Mm-hmm. And I just went, oh, okay, we are good. We are good. This is it's. If you haven't listened to NT20, go and do it, because they do. I think they strike the balance well of, the stuff that Chris likes and the stuff that everybody else likes, which is the numbers, and then the talking about football. I think they do that really, really well. And I think the presenters bounce off each other really well. I did have to chuckle when Ali was talking. When George was talking about the XG numbers a few months back. I think I could feel you getting behind your keyboard, ready to go. I was like, Chris is going to come back at you with this. But yeah, I
wrote my first ever comment on YouTube in response to that. I did, yeah. It was like not angry or anything. It was just maybe making the point.
You're wrong.
No, it wasn't. Well, it was that maybe there was an element of truth in it, but maybe haven't got the full context because they are unable to watch every single game of every week. And then I think I mentioned on this podcast, because they mentioned it was our XG ratio that George was referencing, which is maybe we were overperforming a little bit. But then when you broke it down to look at what is our XG ratio relating to game state, so basically XG for compared to XG against when you're drawing and when you're winning and when you're losing, how does that look? And then it maybe paints a slightly different picture than the overall, particularly because we were spending so much time ahead, so little time behind, and we're scoring the first goal so often. Like game state had a far bigger influence on those numbers for our numbers than maybe it would for the average League One team. So I just wanted to put that in there. And it was interesting. I'm not taking any credit for this. I imagine they found it themselves, but it was interesting that Ali then referenced that the week after. But that was quite nice. Like, oh, I said that. Like, it's always nice when, like, sometimes like when you're listening. I don't know if you do this. I'm sure you do. Like you're watching TV, like watching England or something, and then the commentator will, like you'll say something out loud, and then the commentator says it, and you go, "Oh, I said that. That must mean I know something about football." It's just great. It's nice to get. But yeah, they're great. They are really, really good, and I like that they like us.
Yeah, absolutely. Red Wimp in the chat, Member of Parliament, says the EFL guy on Radio 5 Live talks on Saturday lunchtimes. Can't think of his name. Is he the same as the Breaking Bad actor? That's Aaron Paul, not that Aaron Paul, which always makes me chuckle because I listen to Fighting Talk on a Saturday morning, and they have like intro music for every pundit that they have on, and Aaron Paul's is the Breaking Bad like theme music, and it's like, okay, of course it is.
You know what, Ben? That might be a feature for the summertime, by the way, for us all to share which football podcasts we listen to, other than I imagine we don't listen to our own one back, but like other than this one, like what else do we listen to, and what information do we get from it? That might be. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but just came to mind. I'm not normally the ideas guy, so I had an idea. It had to share it out loud.
Good one. We will have a discussion around that one. Right, 33 minutes in, so we will take a quick break. We will say hello to a few folks that are on YouTube, and then we'll come back, and we've got some questions to answer, and some of them quite fun. So we'll see you the other side of this.
One thing, hopefully I didn't butt in too quickly then. One thing that might be worth just referencing in part two, and hello everyone, by the way, is just referencing how lovely the junior takeover was at the weekend.
Yes, yeah, it's on. Great. It's on the list because I don't know. I will mention it, but the video that the club have put out on YouTube is genuinely brilliant. Like everything about it is excellent. The production value is brilliant. The message is brilliant. Having everybody there is brilliant. Everything about it, I love Junior Takeover Day. So much fun. Right, let's see quickly who we've got in. It hasn't been quite as manic in the comments, although we do have about 100 people watching at the moment. So John was in first.
100 people watching, even though there's no game to talk about. Yes. Thank you, everybody. That's amazing.
It's very good fun. John is in. Andy is in. Dave is in. Flossie is in. John is in again. There we go. Podcast Mum's in. Leslie's here. Rach is in, although she has just left to go get some bits, I think. Bish is in. Ollie is in. Sarah is in.
Ollie sits not far away from me, and so we always have a very quick chat on the way in. And we kind of discussed the game on Saturday, and he said, "I think we'll be all right. If we score early, we'll be fine." And after our second goal, I think it was, I went for my scheduled midway through the first half wee break, and Ollie just said to me, "Well, it's all turning out into quite a comfortable afternoon after all, isn't it?" So I don't know what I was worried about. It was great. Yeah, they just stuck in my head. It was brilliant. And then we scored again after that.
Absolutely. Roy's in. Steve is in. Josh is in. Walter is in. We've already said hello to him, but Red Wimp is in. I'm sure there was a couple more. Richard's in. Ben is in. We can't stop winning, can we? Fully deserved award and deserved to be recognised. That was around the ground staff. Jacob is in. Always good to see you, my friend. It was good to see you at the weekend. Dominique is in. Obviously, Nick's in. He mentioned the thing there. David's in. So forgot this week. Assume no pod because of the break. We'll do nicely while doing the shopping. Nothing stops the Stacey West podcast. Nothing. Except maybe when we're lazy. But there we go.
Crackers never lazy.
No. Crackers the Cockapoo says, if we win promotion away from home, will the podium be set up at that game, e.g. Reading, or the next one?
Good question.
Good
Don't know. It's not. I know we had it in League Two and the National League, but we're hardly used to it, are we? This whole winning the league malarkey. I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah. Rach makes the point, Bolton and Stockport can't win every game because they play each other. So yeah, it has to be one of. But yeah. That's fair enough. Emma says, has anyone had the earworm for this week of 7 years in League One? I've had many earworms all the way through this week. It's been fantastic. David Ward says, evening, gentlemen. Ben, don't get your hair cut. So we do have a question a bit later on superstitions. I've not had my hair cut since our winning run or unbeaten run started in December. And I know it's got nothing to do with it, but I'm scared to get my hair cut.
There you go. You can't do it until it's guaranteed, mate. And then it's all coming off in one go.
Shave my head, get a tattoo on my on the top of my skull. But no, right. Cool. Right, we'll come back in then. And we shall talk about what we're going to promotion permutations.
Yeah, just to try and offer some sort of clarity to it. I'm sure everyone's done the maths themselves, but we'll do our best to put some sort of clarity to it, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. In 3, 2, 1. And there we go. That was an advert for the audio listeners. For the people watching, we've said hello. It's always very, very nice. And as Chris mentioned in the break, we've got over 100 people watching right now, and we don't have a game.
Just thank you.
Yeah, just thank you. It's brilliant. Anyway, if you do want to get more involved, get yourself over to Patreon. I think there's a link at the moment on the homepage, which details something that we're going to talk about a little bit later on, and you'll get access to it. It's going to be very fun. So, right, what we're going to do now, I'm going to talk about what needs to happen on Good Friday for us to spend the weekend very, very happy.
Yes, indeed. So I suppose the first place to start here, Ben, would be there are 7 games remaining.
Mm-hmm.
There are 21 points to play for.
Mm-hmm.
And we are 18 points clear of Bolton in 3rd, 19 points clear of Bradford in 4th, and Stockport, who have got 2 games in hand, if they win those 2 games in hand, will be on the same points as Bolton. So that's the landscape. Your turn.
Yeah. So so table as it stands. Lincoln top of the table on 84 points. We've got Cardiff underneath us at 77, Bolton on 66, Bradford on 65, and Stockport on 60, as Chris said, with 2 games in hand over the teams directly above them. So the first part of the equation is pretty straightforward. In order for us to genuinely have a really, really good weekend, if we win on Good Friday, then it's basically done. I think irrelevant of whatever happens in the other games, if we win, it will only be goal difference. And our goal difference at the moment is plus 40 compared to Bolton's plus 16. Now, that would mean that's what, 24 goal margin?
Yeah, and if we do win on Friday, it would have to be at least plus 41.
Yep.
So, it's a lot of goals.
Yeah, so with 6 games after that, then you would have for Bolton to catch up. Realistically, we would have to get hammered a few times, and Bolton would have to hammer another team quite a few times in order to make that gap up.
Yeah. And one thing that maybe hasn't been discussed as much, which I've only just thought of, so I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but they've got to, like, 2 teams have got overtakers.
Yes.
so it's not even that, like Bolton and Cardiff, who are having a little bit of a wobble themselves, albeit the gap to them is closer. Like they've got to overtake us as well for us to drop out of it. But yeah, ultimately if we win, we'll be 18 points clear, and there'll be 18 points left to play for, regardless of anyone else's results. But genuine question. Because let's be honest, if it's mathematically done on Saturday, you'd imagine there'll be quite some excitement in the stands. And I'm not here to advocate a pitch invasion or anything, but you normally see them on the telly when teams get promoted, don't you?
Yes.
If we win, but it's not quite mathematically certain, like how excited are we allowed to be? And we've mentioned that if we're guaranteed to go up, we're on a night out. And I can't do like multiple nights out in a month. I can do one every 6 months and then need 6 months to get out of it, away from it. I want to make sure I'm making the most of the correct night out when we do actually seal promotion. If we win, I don't know whether that's a night out or not. I need to know these things, Ben.
I'm pretty sure that if we get to the final whistle on Good Friday and we have won, and Bolton have also won, I'm pretty certain that we're all going to say, you know what, sod it, let's go get drunk anyway because we're going up.
You mean I'm pretty sure us as in us lot?
Oh, the state, yeah.
Do you think Michael Scubala will accept it at that point? Because he's been very keen to say, we're still not done yet. It's not done. We need to get over the line. That's a weird one because it's not mathematically certain. We could lose 6-0 every game. Bolton could win 6-0 after that, and then we would drop out. But that's not very likely. So
my immediate reaction to that is that I don't think Michael Scubala will see the job as done, because now the job is we want the title. Sonny Bradley said that.
Good point.
Sonny Bradley said that in his Radio Lincolnshire interview. We're in a title race. Let's not be naive about it. We know what Cardiff are doing. We know what the table looks like. We want to win a title. It's like, oh, hang on. Somebody said it now. That's nice. So, yeah.
But you're surely still allowed to celebrate getting promoted first.
They'll have a beer.
I didn't necessarily mean they have to have any alcohol. I just meant have a nice time and actually, like, recognise, yes, we've done it. Like,
yeah.
Have we at that point? How have we kind of morally, yes, realistically, yes, mathematically, no? It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, I suppose the big question, let's just have a quick look at the upcoming fixtures, as we said. So, Stockport have Wickham in, I think, Good Friday.
Yeah, they've got Wimbledon
and they've got Wimbledon on Saturday.
Sorry, Saturday, yes.
So, do you think Stockport can come away from both of those games with 6 points, Chris?
They could. They're both home matches, I think, aren't they?
Yep.
But they're not actually brilliant at home. I mean, they could. They're a good team, like they could. But will they? I don't know. Wycombe are decent and all, aren't they? Wimbledon are on decent form. They're difficult to beat. It's rare that any team other than us, and maybe Plymouth at the moment in terms of form, are really putting a run of back-to-back wins together consistently. But feasibly, like they absolutely could do it. Yeah, they could.
Mm-hmm. And then Bolton, obviously, as you say, have Plymouth. Plymouth are flying at the moment. I think they're second in the form table to us, at least over the last 6 games. The draws just appeared in different spots for us. But yeah, I think Bolton might struggle against Plymouth, because I think Plymouth are getting to the point where they can smell the blood in the water, and that they know that they can turn around what was at one point a disastrous season. Early doors, I think there was fans calling for the board to resign, for the manager to quit, and get rid of all the play, everything. There was an element of comedy to it, admittedly, but it was quite difficult to watch some of the Plymouth fans just going insane, because it was like they were in such a bad way a few months ago, and now they're on the verge of the playoffs. Yeah. I think Plymouth will do something against Bolton on Good Friday.
That would be nice. Yeah, and that's all that needs to happen, isn't it? Ultimately, if we pick up more points than any one of those teams below us, however that looks, then we're all right, aren't we? But ultimately, if we win and Bolton don't, we're good.
We'll have a lot more clarity on everything going into the game, after Saturday. Yeah. So obviously you've got Stockport playing FC Wimbledon. That would give us an idea then whether they would be able to catch us or not. But yeah, it's I think the key thing, like I say, if we win, then we're there. We're there now. Let's be fair. We're pretty much there now.
It'd be nice if AFC Wimbledon can do us 2 favours, i.e., take points off Stockport and then just let us win on Good Friday. Go on, lads, we like you. You can have a win.
Yeah. So Ian says in the chat here, Bolton have 6 games in 19 days and Stockport have 7 games in 25 days. It's a heavy old schedule for him, but yeah, it'd be an interesting one to see what happens.
At this time of the season, to play devil's advocate though, that can sometimes be a blessing with momentum.
If you get a bit of a run going, if you do start to build that, then you'll be all right. But last 5 in the form table, Bolton won 2, then drew 2, then they've lost 1. Stockport lost 3, then won 1, then drawn 1. It's just not as straightforward. And I think that the title of this week's Stacey West League One show was, "Does anybody else want promotion?" Which is absolutely fair.
Yeah. I always do my best to be as objective as possible. I think I've said this before, but objectively, if he was looking at this on the outside, looking in to any other team, both of us would be saying, well, they're as good as done. And all the underlying numbers that I would normally back that opinion up with suggest that that's definitely the case.
Yeah.
But it's our team, and I still can't quite. I believe we're going up. I've said that out. I've said that now, but it still doesn't. Yeah, I still can't allow myself to actually celebrate it because we're not quite there. I fully expect us to get there. And wouldn't it be brilliant if we could do it at home? But I suppose a sold out away end just 2 or 3 days later ain't a bad alternative, is it?
Absolutely. It was quite funny the other day. I was talking to Charlie, and because we're giving Charlie a lift over to Reading, and I was saying to him when we were talking about, are we going to potentially go out on Good Friday after the game? And I said, I have a feeling that the Stacey West as a collective may well make the England 2005 Ashes winning side look sober in comparison. And he was like, this really pissed me off, by the way. He goes, well, I was 2.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that was my reaction. He was like, I don't know this story. So I told him the story is about, Freddie Flintoff and the pedalo and everything else. And I sent him a photograph of Flintoff and Peterson outside number 10. So you've got bald Andrew Flintoff and wild-haired Kevin Peterson, and Charlie just replied with, "You do realise that is an exact photograph of me and you rocking up to Reading."
So you've had your haircut by then, have you? Oh no.
Well, no, because his hair was pretty wild. So yeah.
And Charlie hasn't got a lot, bless him.
There you go. So right, we've put the call out as we normally do to the Patreon Discord for some questions for around everything. So quick one from Bish to kick us off says, question for this evening's pod: what is everybody doing this weekend with no football to occupy us? Chris,
I'm going to your birthday party.
Yay!
Yes, but Saturday daytime, not sure yet. Obviously in the middle of a house move, so we'll probably know a bit more about that in the next 2 or 3 days, but most of it's done. Short answer, not a clue. We'll feel lost. We'll obviously have one eye on Stockport's fixture, but genuinely not sure. I'm going to be lost.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to be busy getting ready for everything, to be fair, but there we go. Sultan of Ping says, what song would you like Lincoln to come out to every home game, Chris?
Now, this is a cop-out, but I just like Dan Busters, Ben. I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, every little bit, I think, has had a role to play this season. Moving the dugout, switching the home and away dugouts might have had an impact. Playing the Dan Busters when you come out, because it's the song that all the fans sing after we scored a goal. And like all these little bits, you just don't know. Like on their own, probably don't have a huge impact, but all combined together are part of a collective. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. I agree, but at the same time, and I know this is used by Sunderland, I do like Invaders Must Die by Prodigy. It's just the slow build-up, and then when it comes in, it's like, bang. And I know there is the meme of the guy on Sunderland Till I Die saying, oh, can we get Darude Sandstorm, do this? It's like, but Invaders Must Die is a decent one, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. And I see Devon Imps has put in the chat, like, Dan Busters, but louder. Like, yeah, absolutely right. As part of the stadium developments in the summer, I believe part of that may have an element of audio as well. So
I think it's been confirmed they're getting a new
PA
system.
Fingers crossed that will be. Yeah, we'll be able to hear it even louder.
Absolutely. Right, next one. John Leonard asks, in honor of Riley Towler, has the doors or wheels question already been discussed on the show? I don't think it ever has. So,
no, but you did discuss this pre-match on Saturday, because I remembered that. I mean, obviously you're excellent at describing this, so I won't steal your thunder. But when you mentioned it on Saturday, I remembered the interview. I didn't realise that was Riley Towler, though, because at the time, like, Riley Towler didn't really mean a lot to me. It was a good few years ago now. Turns out it was our Riley, wasn't it? You tell the story.
So for those that don't know, there was a question that did the rounds on social media a few years ago, and it was, what are there more of in the world? Are there more doors, or are there more wheels? And there's no answer to it. It's just one of those silly questions. And the video of Riley is brilliant because he takes it so seriously, and he's just sat there going, "It's got to be doors. It's doors. It's got to be doors. I've got doors in my house that don't go anywhere." It's like, it's brilliant. It's so funny to watch, which is why his nickname is Doors. So, Chris, are there more doors or wheels in the world?
I'm gonna go wheels. I don't know.
I am also going with wheels, and it is for the sole reason that, do you know who the biggest manufacturer of tires are in the world?
No.
Lego.
Michelin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course you know that. That is a genuinely interesting statistic. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's
and what
good.
The tires go on? Tires go on wheels. So there's loads of Lego wheels. There you go. That's fine. So that's put that one to bed, definitely. One that actually popped up. Rach popped her head in while we were talking about stuff, and she said, I've got a question for the pod. And I was like, okay. And she's all right. Why this season? Why is it this season? And why have the events over the past 10 years led to and been pivotal to this season being the season? And I thought,
such a good question.
I thought that was a really good spot for us to have a bit of a chat around why it is that this season is when it's all come together. So I'll let you have a think on that for the maybe the footballing side, probably more than anything, I guess, would be your forte on that one, Chris.
I think it's not just that though, and because you mentioned this maybe an hour or so before we recorded, and I was pondering this for the time that we were prepping. It's a super question. I think I'm probably going to stick with the theme though, is that there's probably two or three, more than two or three. There's a few things that have all just kind of culminated all together. So, Jovan sale, I think was a big thing. Like, we haven't spaffed the money everywhere, but you imagine we've been able to invest in areas that we haven't previously been able to. We've been able to offer maybe newer extended contracts sooner in the season than maybe we have before because of that. We've been able to act upon market opportunities in the summer and maybe even the winter window that we maybe would have had to wait for previously. Those little things might have just helped just nudge the dial a little bit from where we were before. None of that would have happened if it wasn't for Jovan effectively being thrown in the deep end, playing up front on his own, looking a little bit lost, but had just such valuable experience. Like, you've got to go through that to then get the experience to then improve. Like, he wouldn't be the player he is now without that experience that he had of being thrust in the deep end and looking a little lost at times, and then really growing into such an important player for us. You could probably say something similar to Fred before his injury this season had become absolutely massive. This might be a little controversial. Possibly the injury to James Collins in a really strange way has helped cement the style, because we've had to adapt for James's strengths and his weaknesses, whereas with other players it's a different setup. So we've been able to stick to a more consistent approach at the front, on the front line. Like, just becoming masters of your craft, I suppose. You know, we know what we're good at. We know what we value. We've had a year or so, 18 months or so to practice that, build that, and just run with it. So I think there's so much credit to so many people involved. And I think it's the culmination of lots of little factors all aligning rather than one big thing. It's also helped that the League One has been more competitive this season, in that other teams have been able to take more points off each other. And I would say the overriding factor that you'd probably describe us as is consistent in terms of performances as well as results, whereas there's not many other of the teams that would expect to be up there in League One that have been that consistent. So that's helped. I still don't buy into the fact that the league's weaker, by the way, as a whole. We obviously haven't got the Birmingham, but the overall league I don't think is weaker. But it is certainly more competitive from top to bottom. But we've just been the most consistent team. So it's really difficult on the pitch to say it's one or two specific things. But I think it's a combination of lots and lots of little bits and bobs. And our adaptability probably is the biggest one. The squad depth has allowed us to be tactically flexible, maybe more so than we have historically. So consistency in overall values of our performances, plus our tactical flexibility, plus everyone else in League One not taking points of each other, plus the Jovan sale. I think those may be the big four. But as mentioned earlier, the little bits like just swapping the dugouts over so that our bench is in front of is next to the linesman. Like, little bits like that have all probably got a role to play as well. And I imagine there's loads of things behind the scenes that we don't see as well.
Yeah, 100%. That the dugout change still confuses me. We're near the end of the season. It still confuses me to this point now. I'm like, oh no, that's ours now. But I think away from the pitch, I think it's over the past 10 years, this has been a chess game for me. Like, we've obviously had, 7 years in this division, but there have been so many little things that have happened over the past 10 years where it's been, okay, we'll move that piece to there because we know that that's not going to do anything right now. But in 6 months or a year or 2 years' time, this piece that we put here is suddenly going to become incredibly useful. So putting the stall out and slowly building up, your positions and your defenses and your attack and everything else. Over the course of the years, we've had like the fan zone. So the fan zone was introduced. Okay, that's now grown to be a point where there are hundreds of people in there before every game. You've got the local food, you've got the local beer, you've got everything in there that's bringing a bit of a community in, and it's a feel-good thing around the club. You then look at other things that have happened, around the club. Like you say, the dugouts swapping round, the drainage system in the pitch, that's come good now. The team have just won an award for the work that they do on the pitch. That was a massive investment a few years ago, and it's come good now.
A lot of clubs would have just spent that on a new striker.
Yes, absolutely. The training ground, everything around that from the FA Cup run, that money could have gone on a striker at that point. But there were so many parts where it's like, no, we're going to use this money and we're going to do it sensibly. And in all credit to Liam and Jez and everybody at the club, they did it in the face of some pretty vile opposition at points. When things weren't going brilliantly, there was a bit of a nasty element that started to creep in. But the people that were running the club knew exactly what it was that they wanted to do. They knew what the plan was. And they said, no, we're not going to divert from the long-term goal. And they kept moving towards it. Now, there's obviously been a couple of missteps and a couple of unexpected things that had happened. Danny and Nicky leaving when they did, Mark Kennedy not working out. But it didn't change the long-term goal. And that goes back to having the roles of cogs in the machine. Like if one of the cogs breaks, you just replace that cog. You don't have to throw the whole machine out. And the more that's gone on, the more they've built the machine and they've put the right cogs in the right places at the right time. And it's just been the perfect moment to strike this year. And obviously the most important thing that happens is what happens at 3:00 on a Saturday. The team go out there, they know what they're doing. They are well drilled. They've got the game plan to go and win, in whatever way they need to. And the way that that's been done, and the way that that's all come about this season, it's not just down to Michael Skubala. It's not just down to Rico Hackett for his top scorer at the moment. It's not just down to Jack Moylan. Everybody has been a part of that machine for nearly a decade. Everybody that's been here, everybody that's left has all had a part to play in that. And we're now at the point where, going back to the chess analogy, we go back to it. That Cardiff game is when we took the Queen. And now we're just mopping up the rest of the board. And we may well be champions.
Well said, Mr. Ward. That's fantastic. Yeah, I agree with everything you've just said. I think there's two thoughts in my mind that popped through. And when you was explaining and describing all of that. Number one, pride. Just proud of this football club, and I'm sure everyone is to an extent, but I bet everyone else at every other football club in the AFL aren't as proud as we are as Lincoln City. I just don't feel like it's possible. And you know what? It's really not nice. It just goes to show it's bigger than us sometimes. Mm-hmm. It goes to show that you can be successful by being relatively sustainable, by doing things right, by putting fans first, by treating people as people rather than objects, not by throwing money down blind alleys and chasing the dream too soon. Like, for want of a better word, doing things properly. You can be successful doing it. And it does just make some of those other football clubs that have maybe had that short-term mentality, hell, the majority of football clubs that maybe have that shorter-term mentality, it just goes to show that it can be done. And that's such a light at the end of the tunnel for me in terms of the wider context of football. It's almost like when we won the EFL trophy, we saved that competition by not letting a under-21s team get to the final. Obviously, that's slightly more light-hearted. But like as we mentioned before when we've spoken about the likes of Exeter, for example, and how sad it is that fan-owned model looks like it's unsustainable at this level. And you can't really be legitimately successful, or what most fans at League One ever would class as success, i.e. pushing for promotion. It's really unlikely that that's possible with that model. But what we've shown is that you can be really well run, you can be sensible, you can be kind of long-term in your mindset, you can be frugal, and importantly, you can be successful with it as well. Like that's just shows that it can be done. And do you imagine there'd be lots of maybe quite embarrassed football club owners this summer of so-called bigger teams that haven't got promoted on the season that little old Lincoln did? And it's reward for everyone at the club for all of those things that you mentioned in your brilliant monologue earlier. But for me, it does feel a bit bigger than that, in that maybe this does show that football can be saved at this level. It doesn't have to be so financially irresponsible, because you can do things right and you can still have a good time and be successful. Like, that's what, like, we're just the shining light of it. And like I said right at the start, we're all proud of our football club, but I bet no one's as proud of their club as we are of ours.
Yeah.
I just bet they're not.
Yeah, absolutely. Pride is absolutely the word, and I just hope it can continue. There was a comment in the chat that says, Ian says, hopefully it will stay the same and the fans don't get pushed aside in the future. They absolutely won't. I think that is the headline of any worries when it comes to the future. I think Ron is heavily invested in the fan experience, and I think the people that are around Ron are the people that have been around Clive, and they know what they're talking about. And let's not forget, Clive's not going anywhere. He will still be here. So there will be a guiding hand to keep things going the way that we've been, going over the past 10 years. And it's going to be, it's going to be a wild, wild ride. And Ben says, cough, Huddersfield, cough. If you're talking chess, Huddersfield would flip the table over, walked out and bought a new house and a new table to play by now. That's essentially how it's working. But yeah, right. So there were a few more questions, but as is the way, we're getting on for time, Chris. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on to the final bit of news, which is a little bit of shameless self-promotion. So for those of you that were aware, last year we did the Stacey West's Royal Ramble. It was fantastic. It was just good fun, wasn't it?
Jolly good fun. Yeah, really good fun. Only made fun by the fact that there were other people there.
Yes, there were lots of other people there. So we are putting on another live event. It's going to be at Tension Twisted once again, and it will be available to people who are signed up to Stacey West's Patreon. So the patreon.com/Stacey West. And then we will be able to you'll be able to get a ticket for the Royal Ramble 2. Tickets are a £5, but that does include your first alcoholic beverage, as long as it is not a double or a cocktail. So yeah, I think there's a few tickets. They have been going very quickly. I think at last I saw there were less than 20 tickets available. So if you do want to come along, hopefully, it'll definitely be a promotion party. I think that's fair to say. But I think we also need to entertain the idea that there may be a big shiny trophy to celebrate as well, because at that point I think there's only 12 points left to play for, Chris. So that'll be a very fun afternoon/evening. It'll be after the Orient game, so you can go and have a few drinks, then come and see us, talk about football, and just probably try and stay professional in the face of increasing amounts of alcohol, I would imagine.
Stay reasonably professional. I think it's worth saying that we're still going to do a regular podcast on the Sunday, don't we? So this is very much a special event for patrons. This is not going to be like just a live recorded podcast. It's going to be a little bit different. Hopefully it's worth coming along for.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, get yourself involved. Patreon.com/Stacey West. That also gets you access to our Patreon Discord, which is it's just fun. It's just fun. I like our Discord. It's great. We had a big conversation about music last night, and I found some records in my collection that I didn't know that I still had. That were they may look questionable now, Chris. I think it's probably fair to say.
I saw those pictures.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, I can't. I genuinely, it's like, what is it? That when you throw something away and you know you've thrown it away, and then like 3 weeks later it shows up on a shelf, you're like, how the hell did that get there? It's like a horror film. I definitely threw that vinyl away. I took it to the tip and I took it to the tip. I threw it in one of the big skips and I was like, that's gone forever. I don't have to ever look at the fake sound of progress ever again. And it's back upstairs. It's in my it's in my record shelf, and I don't understand how.
Magic. I'm the opposite of that. I would say if there's such thing as the opposite of a hoarder, I'm that guy. So I will often throw things away in a mad clear out. Obviously, that's happening quite a lot at the moment. And then probably need it at some point down the line. And not normally serious stuff, but it might be like a pair of jeans that I've forgotten that I've thrown away, or not like a credit card or something. But yeah, just something that a wire, like all of us have got a tin full of like random wires, and every now and then I go, why have I got this stupid thing? Get rid of it. And then I actually, lo and behold, a week later you need it, and you're looking for it, and you've forgotten that you've got rid of it. So yeah, I do it with emails quite a bit. I've done the email, I've replied to the email, so I delete the email to keep them nice and tidy. And then someone at work will say, "Oh, well, I emailed you about this a couple of weeks ago." I replied, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Yeah, but it's gone.
Yeah. So right, that is going to do us for this week's episode of the podcast. We will be back on Sunday with another one. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about in that one either, to be honest, because they're still not a game to preview.
We'll have a clearer picture, won't we, in regards to the Stockport game? We'll know whether they're in the running or not. So at least there'll be a little bit of that. I imagine there'll be some more questions, and there might be some more news by then. So
absolutely,
I honestly once again came into today's podcast, Ben, thinking there's not a lot to talk about. Are we going to be able to fill an hour? 1 hour, 11 minutes later, and we've had to miss out some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have submitted a question for us on the Discord, we will put a pin in them and we'll get them answered at another time. But it's all good. But before we do go, Chris, it's the 25th of March today.
It is.
20 years ago, Chris. 20 years ago to the day. Do you know what happened at Sincilbank?
I feel like I should. But no, not off the top of my head.
Russell Slade's joint top of League Two side, Grimsby Town, are inexplicably thrashed 5-0 at Lincoln City. 4-0 down at half-time. Slade doesn't take his team into the dressing room. Instead, he chooses to take his team talk on the pitch.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was so much fun. I didn't realise it was so late in the season.
No. And I've still got the DVD of that game upstairs.
Very good.
So, yeah. There you go. Something to smile as we end the podcast. And we will say, as we always do, Chris, up the imps.
Up the imps.